I never really thought of an intro, so this is gonna be my intro right here. Hey YouTube, what's up? Now this is gonna be my first deck profile that I post on YouTube. It's on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Percy version, not Dev Pro. Mainly reason why I probably won't be using Dev Pro for my entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Career until I get a new computer is because Yu-Gi-Oh! Percy version is just easier to handle. Regardless, this is my own custom variant of, as you guys already know, Frognarchs is already a popular arch deck type. But after a while, they've gotten support. Mega Monarchs and this new, better Soul Exchange, the Monarch Stormforth. And it has revolutionized Monarchs in today's meta. I don't care about all the Shadows and the Star Seraphs and all that BS, but this is one of my favorite decks that I've created since I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! A few months ago. And I'm probably going to create it in real life when this card, Mass Change Second, comes out in the TCG. It's currently an OCG card if I remember correctly. It hasn't come out yet. It most likely will soon. But when it does, it will revolutionize everything. And I personally believe that when it does come out in TCG, and probably when it's out in OCG and gets enough play and realize the potential that it has, it will most likely get limited or semi-limited, because water decks with this is actually just dangerous. You get board wipes, back row right wipes just like all the time. So we start off with 2 GNX controllers and 3 Udines. It's obvious, because if you're going to run GNX controller, you can either run 2 Udines or 3 Udines, and that's pretty simple. I know I'm not going in order, but this is actually the first profile that I'm creating, and I'm kind of nervous right now. As you can probably hear in my voice, I'm just going incredibly fast. No, actually, it's just naturally me. One Obelisk the Tormentor, obviously. It has a theme of GNX Udine and a Froggy Monarchs type of deal. And 2 Light and Darkness Dragon. Light and Darkness Dragon is absolutely beautiful in today's meta. There's not many cards that can repeat the effect off, and the only thing that really destroys it is Breakthrough Skill already in the graveyard, because for some odd reason it's capable of negating Light and Darkness Dragon and allowing you to just do whatever you want. Breakthrough Skill is just such a phenomenal card. Then we have my favorite Mega Monarch to date, Mobius, the Mega Monarch. Of course, I'm pretty sure you guys already know about the Mega Monarch archetype. It's basically the evolution of Monarchs, and the only ones that are out currently that I know of is Mobius and Rises, and actually every single one. No, Mobius, Riser, and Dalnos, if that's the correct pronunciation for it. The Fire Monarch. Oh, and Grand Merge, the Earth Monarch. But Mobius, Mega Mobius, has the best effects out of all 4 of them. And that's debatable, of course, but personally, I do believe it has the best effect. Then, of course, you have 1 Gores, standard in any Monarch deck, standard in any deck that doesn't run heavy back row. And even if you run like reactive trap cards, like Threatening Roar or, Breakthrough Skill and all that, then you can even run Gores in your deck. But, yeah. Anyway, so that's obvious. Then 3 Caius, standard. 3 Rises, standard. 3 Swap Frogs. Now, this is like a U9 Froggy build. So I don't even really know what to call it. So I just called it Maverick Monarchs, named that after myself. Even though I'm pretty sure there's already a build like this created. I just personally like this build because it has a dual functionality. It's 2 engines, and it's really faster than a lot of other builds. Now, it doesn't run creature swap like standard Monarchs, for example. This is a standard Monarch build. They don't have any extra deck, but if you see, this is basically a standard Monarch build. 1 Obelisk, 2 Light and Darkness Dragon, Gores, Caius, Rise Up, Frog, blah blah blah. And then you have some rank 2s and rank 6s and whatnot. And this deck really decimates no matter what. So I like this deck as well, but I personally like my own because it has more versatility because of the Mega Monarchs and Mass Change. And then of course you run 2 Ronin Totem. I love saying that. Just for the rank 2 potentials, for the stall potential of Gachi, just in case you need to get that little bit push over there. And then I run two. I'm gonna get to that. Why I run Herald of Sacred Light. It's one of the best cards in Monarchs, and it's probably one of the best rank 2s to date for anything that allows you to recycle cards that you most likely won't need in your hand, or it tends to have cards that clog up in your hand because it's not that much use. Like 3 U9s, I most likely will use 1 U9 at least once in an entire duel, and then I won't use the others unless, you know, it's kind of happens and I send Ronin Toten or just one of these. But yeah, if I use both of these or I draw into a Genius controller after I use one, I can use this to send one of these back and get a Monarch that I've used already, or Gores, or Lightning Darter Dragon, or Obelisk, and it's really good. 2 Dope Frogs is obvious, standard. 2 Treeborn Frog, obvious, standard. You don't run one because when one gets banished, you're pretty much screwed. 3 Battle Faders, of course, to avoid OTKs because the deck is really slow, and I like that. It's very conservative. It's very slow paced, and that's one of my personal playstyle. Slow pace, control-y, get the cards you need and outplay your opponent type of deal. And then 1 Allure of Darkness, so for those useless Genius controller cards, just with the 2 draws. And 1 for 1, just so that you can dump something you don't need and get a Treeborn Frog, or maybe a Battle Fader so you can go into Sweetnet, Slacker Magician, because I don't know how to pronounce the top word. Anyways, then 1 Dark Hole, standard, of course. And the super prime card of this entire deck, Mass Change Second. Its effect is discard 1 card, then target 1 face-up monster you control and send it to the graveyard. If you do, special summon 1 masked hero from your extra deck with the same attribute, and that's what really makes this deck. With Mass Change Second, you basically have a back row wipe with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards. Wait, no. 14 cards, and that's insane. As long as you draw this, you will always have an activator. And this, like I said, it tends to have a lot of cloggy things in your hand, or things you would just want to dump, like a Ronin Toad or a Dope Frog, a Ronin Toten, or a Dope Frog for setting up for a larger play. But this allows you to just wipe out the back row. And the only thing that really stops this is Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning is like the only thing that really stops this. And since that's at 1, it's really difficult. But if they can get the Solemn Warning on you, then yeah, that sucks. But if they do that, then they can't really stop your Mobius, the Mega Monarch. Actually, nothing can stop it, because if you're special summoning it, you're most likely gonna have water. There's, like I said, there's 12 cards, except if you exclude these 12 cards that are water types, and you will be summoning it, and you're most likely getting its secondary effect. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted cards in response to this effect's activation. You're most likely gonna wipe the board. And then you have Mavnarchs Stormforth as obvious, because Soul Exchange is stupid now. Since this came out, it's really stupid. I would never run Soul Exchange anymore, ever, because I think Soul Exchange targets, and this doesn't target. The only thing that Soul Exchange has over this is that you can use multiple in the same turn. Now, that can somewhat be good, but you lose your battle phase, and that just sucks. And then you have 3 enemy controllers, obviously. And the hero of the deck, what makes the deck, Mass Hero Asset. Now, I'm probably the first one, but don't quote me on this, to think about using Frognarchs and Mass Hero Asset after the second Mass Change Second. The moment it came out, I was like, well, it's attribute, higher level, frogs, monarchs. And not only that, they also have other mass heroes. Percy doesn't have the wind one or the light one yet, but they have the other ones like Dark Law, which you can actually put in if you want, because the Caius is also a target, and Gores. And then you have, and when the wind one comes out, I forgot the exact name, you can also put that in, because a lot of synchros in here are mostly fillers. I want to run Chimera Tech, but not really any point in doing that. I feel like Chimera Tech might be a little bit too slow or a little bit too weird if I because I will have to side in 2 Cyber Dragons just to make it effective, and I don't have enough space for that. I'd rather do something to stop the current meta rather than trying to be just targeting one specific card that might not, one rogue deck that might not even actually pop up. And then you have Starform Dragon, that's obvious. You have Genix Controller and Mega Monarch. Or, Genix Controller, Mega Monarch. And then you have Yugioh, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree. This card is amazing, but this is mostly for Genix Monarchs and Gores, or Treeborn Frog, a Monarch, a basic Monarch, and Genix Controller. Ugh, I feel like I'm getting names wrong. I apologize if I am getting names wrong. I'll review, but it doesn't really matter. Then, of course, One Locomotion, Genix. That's obvious. It's basically a mind control. No, Change of Heart with the highest level. I'm thinking about Hearthstone right now. Just being able to snatch a monster with the highest level. And that works with Caius and Genix U9. Then you have Black Rose Dragon, that's obvious. 2 Swap Frogs, Genix U9, or Genix U9, Treeborn Frog, and Controller. Oh my god. 2 frogs, 2 Swap Frogs, and 1 Controller. There you go for Black Rose. Damn it. I feel like I'm just taking everything else and just putting it into the Yu-Gi-Oh video. There's Call of Duty, Hearthstone, okay. Then you have Armatus. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but as life goes on, I'll be able to pronounce it better. That's simple. Level 2s. Dope Frog, Swap Frog, 2 Treeborns, a Battle Fader, Treeborn, Genix U9. Then Army Arm, that's obvious, Treeborn Frog, and Genix Controller or Battle Fader. And then you have 1 rank 6. Now, the reason why I run rank 6 is because I have so many tributing monsters, so many aggressive monsters, that I don't necessarily need any more aggressive rank 6. And when I get 2 Monarchs out on the full board, I'm most likely never ever going to rank them unless I'm running out of fuel in my hand to bounce 1 and add it back to my hand. Bounce 1 of the materials and add it back to my hand, or add Light Darkness Dragon like I did this one play. No more story time. You guys will see me as I play. Anyways, got you. Pretty standard for Frog Monarchs and Frognarchs in general. And Slacker Magician. Now my side deck is probably unorthodox. Now, one of my favorite cards in the entire game is this. I'm pretty sure everybody already know what these are. Vanity Fiend, Jinzo, Majesty Fiend. You already know what they're for and how to stop. What they're for and what they stop. You have Maxi and whatever. And MST is only because, and why I don't main MST is because of these. I don't main it because of these. I don't need it. And since negation cards are it's really rare, Ryza and Caius usually just targets a monster and gets shitted on by the back row anyways. But yeah, so I don't really need to main MST, and that's probably one of the most efficient things in the deck. Regardless, one of my favorite cards is Graziali Prison. I'm just gonna call it Prison. It is if you control a face-up monster that was tribute, ritual, or fusion summoned until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can synchro or XYZ summon. Synchro and XYZ monsters cannot attack. Also, their effects are negated. Now, why this is exceptionally good is because against a lot of decks a lot of decks nowadays, they're synchro, like the new worm archetypes. They're synchro decks, and this completely stops it. And then you have a lot of XYZ decks that stops, and it basically gives you a 2-turn of no. You know, if you activate this on your turn, it started their turn. If you activate this on a started their turn, they basically can't do anything for 2 turns. They cannot XYZ summon, synchro summon, and their XYZ and synchro summons cannot attack, and their effects are negated. It's much like that one card that I can't remember. It's a continuous trap card, 6 or I think it's there you go. Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. All level 6 or higher special summon monsters on the field cannot declare an attack or activate their effects. Now this is a continuous, but this is way better because it can be chained to Mystical Space Typhoon. Now, the only time if you do side this in against specific decks, like Star Seraphs or Fire Fists or any deck that XYZ, you have to make sure you maintain this mentality. Do not set it unless you're willing to chance it by setting other stuff, or you know your opponents do not have MST. Do not chance it. If your opponent has MST, because of your deck, your opponent most likely hold on to MST, so you're lucky. You're already lucky right then and there. But that's a problem. They're either gonna hold on to it or bluff. And if they bluff, you're screwed, because the moment you set this, they're gonna destroy it. So, and if you were going to side this out, you would side out one Dope Frog and one Genix U9 and one Genix controller. It will slow down the pace of your deck, but it will equally or higherly slow down your opponent's pace of the deck. And you still have a lot of dumpers, which is pretty solid. Now, I've been continuing on this for about, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe, 20 minutes, 12 minutes, and this is my first video, so it's actually exceptionally long, and I'm sorry about that. Honestly, this deck is really good, and what I really want you guys to do, if you're watching this and you enjoy it, or you think this deck is really interesting, because I will be using it in a session. I'll be facing 5 different types of random decks and showing you guys that I can do stuff with it. But if you guys are you really like this deck, then please share it with your friends, share this video, like this video, and simply use it. And send me, if you're going to use DevPro or Percy version or dueling networking, you have a recording program, I mean DevPro or Yugioh Pro Percy version, then you can send me the replays. But for you know, dueling network, if you use this deck, then please just send me the replays and show me what it can do, because I already know what it can do, and I want you guys to know what it can do. And I'll make sure I feature it on my channel no matter what. I promise that. That's definite. All right. Okay, this is actually very good. We actually have other decks. We're gonna be using Carbon Dragons. It's gonna be the next deck that I show, and then it's probably gonna be after that. I don't want to give too much spoilers, and you guys probably wouldn't even understand what Carbon Dragons is until you see the deck, and you're gonna be absolutely astonished that something like this can actually exist and function and beat the current meta. But honestly, it's like a rogue deck, and I'd say it's probably like 2.5. That means it can go up against tiers 2 and 3. Oh well, there's no such thing as tier 3. It's like lower ranked decks, whatever. But it can go up against tier 2 decks and still win. And tier 1 decks has a chance. So if you get a good opening hand, you're pretty much gonna win. But that's it. That's all I have. This is TheVGMaverick, and I'll be signing out. I'll see you guys next deck profile, next dueling video, next whatever. Peace.